The day I signed the 80 million yuan contract with Party A, I needed a luxury car for the reception. The application form clearly stated Maybach, but my wife's childhood friend casually tossed a broken shared bike to me. I was stunned and reminded him to check my reception protocol. He immediately called and yelled at me. "Are your legs broken?" Demanding a Maybach for a 10-minute journey. "You just want to use the company car to pick up girls. How dare you cheat on your CEO wife?" I explained politely that this collaboration involves an 80 million investment, and the transportation for Party A must maintain appropriate standards. My childhood friend kept interrupting and continued mocking. "What collaborators value is our Party B's professional capabilities. What the hell does the car have to do with it? You've been misusing company vehicles under the guise of collaborations these years, haven't you?" The next day, I brought the big client to our company for contract signing using that shabby shared bike. The 80 million cooperation project fell through, and my wife went ballistic. Staring at that chipped shared bicycle, I felt utterly depressed. Sent a message to Ziqiang Chun. "This deal is crucial. It concerns the company's listing." Ziqiang Chun immediately called back after seeing the message. "Are your legs crippled? You want to drive a Maybach for a 10-minute walk?" I felt extremely resentful. Ever since Ziqiang Chun became the director of the reception department at the company, he'd been finding all sorts of excuses to give me trouble. But there was nothing I could do. My wife had made him the head of the reception department. Relying on his status as the childhood friend, when it came to reception standards, he truly was the king. So I forced a smile and explained to him, 10 minutes drive is still a drive. We can't look too cheap when picking up clients. They just agreed to sign the 80,000. The hell with your 80,000. What kind of clients are so damn special? 80,000 warrants a Maybach. You usually ride shared bikes for your half-hour commute every day. Why can't you today? Using Maybach for you is pure resource waste. You're only worthy of riding shared bikes. I angrily hung up the phone. Then, holding the cooperation proposal, I went straight to find my wife Shenling. As soon as I arrived at her office door, I overheard Chen Ziqiang badmouthing me in front of Shenling. "Lingling, what kind of husband did you end up with? His behavior is downright disgusting. Look at what he sent me. A request for a Maybach to cover a 10-minute drive. The company has so many clients and only a handful of cars. Why don't we just let everyone else stop working and hand all the cars over to him for his flirting escapades?" After reviewing the chat records, Shenling immediately frowned. "He's really gone too far lately. I only use a Mercedes when receiving clients. He actually wants a Maybach?" I cleared my throat and pushed open the office door. "Shenling, you've misunderstood. There's actually a reason I applied for the Maybach." Just as I was about to explain, Chen Ziqiang beside me rushed over to interrupt. "Speak of the devil. Even when Manager Shun receives her highest-level clients, she uses a Mercedes for transportation. As a regular employee, you need a Maybach for a few kilometers drive?" I snorted with a derisive laugh, my gaze darting past Chen Ziqiang to Shenling behind him as I explained. "The client I'm meeting this time is crucial. Having me ride a shared bike to negotiate a contract signing would definitely be unreasonable. You shouldn't listen to Chen Ziqiang." Chen Ziqiang twisted in rage when he saw me ignoring him. "Have your eardrums been scraped? Can't you hear me? Even applying for a shared bike for you is excessive. You only deserve to walk." Unexpectedly, Shenling wouldn't listen to my explanations either. Following Chen Ziqiang's words, she said, "Su Chang, you can abuse company resources just because you relying on being my husband." Chen Ziqiang might be somewhat forceful in his attitude, but he's absolutely right. "You, ride the shared bike for now. Consider today's incident a lesson." "Understood." I laughed bitterly in anger. Shenling, after all these years I've worked in the company's sales department, earned so much money and supported so many people, you'd have me ride some beat-up bicycle just because of Chen Ziqiang's word?" Shenling's pretty face darkened instantly. "You're acting aggrieved now? Don't think you can freely abuse company resources just because you're my husband. Forget about the Maybach." I wanted to walk away immediately, but seeing Chen Ziqiang's smug, petty look made me furious. So I finally added one last explanation. The investment capital for the client's collaboration project is huge. If Sheng Ling neither values you nor trusts me, and if the project gets lost eventually, Director Sheng, don't blame me then. Considering Sheng Ling is my wife, I didn't argue with her immediately. But who could have imagined that because of a Chen Ziqiang, she would become so unable to distinguish right from wrong, even lacks the most basic judgment. Chen Ziqiang, however, perceived my words as shifting blame onto him and started yammering on. The client chose to collaborate with our company because of our capabilities, not because of some fancy car for reception. If driving luxury cars could secure big orders worth millions, then business would be way too easy. The company could just hire any driver who can steer a wheel and pour all remaining funds into buying cars. Then why do we even need you? Why do we need a sales department? Are you here to act like prima donnas in front of Shunling? Ling parted her delicate pink lips and nodded. D in full agreement. Chen Ziqiang is right, Su Chong. I didn't care when you used company vehicles before for your winding road trips or whatever, but from now on, all matters regarding reception standards will follow Chen Ziqiang's decisions. He is, after all, an overseas returnee who's won the strongest hospitality honor abroad. Both his vision and insights are far beyond the reach of a small fry like you struggling at the bottom. Faced with Ling's such blatant bias, I realized any further arguments from me would be utterly futile. I stopped beating around the bush. For a project where the client is investing 80 million yuan, are you really asking me to use shared bikes for their transportation? Ling looked taken aback and glanced at Chen Ziqiang. Is what Su Chong said true? Chen Ziqiang visibly froze for a moment, then shook his head hesitantly. I'm not sure about this. But for such a huge 80 million deal that even I couldn't secure, how could Su Chong possibly get it done? Let him front the money to rent a car, or whatever. If the project actually gets signed, I'll contact the reimbursement department to fully reimburse him. Okay. Ling nodded with great satisfaction and openly praised Chen Ziqiang in front of me. Exchanging small costs for high returns. That's brilliant. Chen Ziqiang, your problem-solving approach is still the most reasonable. Is this that advanced foreign theory? I'm so impressed by you. The corner of my mouth twitched involuntarily. Isn't this King getting something for nothing? It's one thing to take me for a fool, but to also treat our client bigwigs holding multi-million to billion yuan projects as fools. I was momentarily at a loss for words. What on earth has Ling been filling her head with lately? How could she not grasp such a simple principle? I drew a deep breath. Fine. I have no objections to your decision. Ling, just don't come to regret this when the time comes. Snap. Ling suddenly slapped me across the face. Su Chong, had enough yet? Chen Ziqiang previously allocated all the client resources to you, but you produced 0 results. Now you're resorting to threats? Is that it? I looked at Chen Ziqiang, brows furrowed tightly. Chen Ziqiang explained with flustered guilt. Ling, let me explain. Su Chong only met the minimum quota recently. That's why this quarter's resources went to other sales team members. I had thought Ling would realize her misunderstanding and apologize to me. To my surprise, after hearing this, she not only showed no remorse towards me, she even openly praised Chen Ziqiang for making good use of resources and demonstrating allocation wisdom right in front of me. After complimenting Chen Ziqiang, she turned and coldly issued an eviction order to me. Still not leaving? Planning to stay for Chinese New Year. Faced with Ling's obvious favoritism and incomprehensible behavioral patterns, I had no choice but to handle matters strictly by the book. The next day, I rode a paint-chipped shared bike to pick up the client boss. The client had already evaluated the business capabilities and corporate ratings of Ling's company in advance. In truth, Mr. Yu was not satisfied with Ling's company. When he saw me appear before him riding a shared bicycle and inviting him to take the rear seat to accompany me to the company, Mr. Yu glanced at the team of elite colleagues following behind him, and his face immediately darkened. Xiao Su, he said, this is an 80 million yuan project. You expect me to ride a bicycle? To be honest, I agreed to sign the contract with Ling because I value your status and the sister behind you. To this, I could only apologize helplessly. I applied for a car, but someone in the company wasn't willing to provide it. It's only 2 kilometers anyway. Cycling will get us there just the same. Mr. Yu was losing his composure. But maintaining his decorum and upbringing, he still led his elite team to take 3 taxis to Ling's company. I chuckled bitterly and self-deprecatingly said, baby's heart is also feeling wronged. When I arrived at the company drenched in sweat after cycling, Ling was flustered and overwhelmed while receiving Director Yu. Oh, Director Yu, why didn't you inform us in advance? I could have arranged a car to pick you up. Chen Ziqiang was eagerly serving tea and water to the group of business elites, occasionally attempting clumsy English banter with a white executive to show off. Their conversation was causing everyone present to furrow their brows. Mr. Yu didn't hold back either, mocking him. If you can't speak English, then don't. How embarrassing. He actually understands Chinese. Chen Ziqiang's face flushed with humiliation. Yet seeing even Ling sucking up to them, he had to swallow his anger. Coincidentally, I walked through the door at that moment. When Chen Ziqiang saw me, he immediately redirected his anger toward me. Su Chong, what took you so long? Why didn't you tell us Mr. Yu was coming? You did this deliberately to humiliate me, didn't you? I was immediately puzzled and retorted, didn't I tell you? I thought I informed you. For an 80 million big order, even if you said 800 billion, you'd still only deserve to ride a bicycle. Chen Ziqiang's face finally changed upon hearing this. Su Chong, what do you mean? Slander me? I couldn't help but laugh. Slander? Haven't you slandered me enough times? What's this? Is it only permissible for the magistrate to set fires, but not for the common people to light a lamp? Ling also joined in scolding me. What time do you think it is? You're still acting like a child and quarreling with Chen Ziqiang? Why didn't you speak up earlier? After admonishing me, Xunling sat down beside President Yu and neatly placed the project proposal in front of him. President Yu, although our reception arrangements were inadequate this time, please believe in our company's professional capabilities. Our company. Enough. Stop talking. General Manager Yu interrupted her. The reason I'm willing to sign this contract is because of Su Chang's professional capabilities. There are enough companies eager to take this order that they could form a queue around the earth from your doorstep. The atmosphere at your company is utterly toxic, with deep-seated conflicts among the staff. Therefore, I believe we should nullify this project collaboration. Xunling looked panicked. She shot a resentful glare at Chen Ziqiang, who stood pale-faced behind her, then turned to me pleadingly for assistance. I merely shrugged my shoulders and spread my hands, maintaining an appearance of utter helplessness. Helpless, Xunling could only force a smile and apologize profusely to Chairman Yu. Chairman Yu coldly sneered. Your company shows a complete lack of unity between leadership and employees, with such poorly managed collegial relationships. How could I possibly entrust an 80 million yuan project to your hands? With that, Chairman Yu stood up and left directly. His team of top sales executives promptly followed him out. Xunling chased after them, but Chairman Yu couldn't be bothered to acknowledge her. In the end, she returned to my side shamed and disheveled, thumping my chest with force. Why did you pick them up on a bicycle? Didn't Chen Ziqiang say they'd reimburse transportation fees if the deal was really secured, and that they'd allocate more reception resources to you afterward? Chen Ziqiang chimed in from behind. Su Chang, you absolute scoundrel. Lingling has treated you so well, trusted you completely. How could you betray her like this? I walked straight up to him and slapped him across the face. You damn thing. If we're talking business, then talk business. Don't drag personal feelings into it. Did I not ask you for a company car? Did I not ask you for funds? What did you say? Told me to ride a shared bike to pick up clients. Chen Ziqiang suddenly realized I was shifting the blame onto him. He knew perfectly well that losing the 80 million order right when it was within his grasp made him undeniably responsible, yet he wouldn't shoulder all the blame himself. So Chen Ziqiang immediately pointed the spearhead at me. You're abusing public affairs for personal vendettas. I promised to reimburse you and allocate resources, yet you still acted this way. I've told you long ago, although Xunling and I grew up together, we don't have any relationship. There's nothing between us. Why don't you believe me? Dragging personal feelings into company matters? You wasted an 80 million order for nothing. Xunling is your wife. Aren't you afraid of breaking her heart like this? I burst into bitter laughter. Turns out people truly do laugh when consumed by extreme rage. Never imagined Chen Ziqiang's capacity for twisting narratives could be this formidable. When losing ground in professional arguments, he simply dragged the issue into personal relationships. What truly caught me off guard was Xunling slapping me sideways across the face. This marked the second time she had struck me for Chen Ziqiang's sake. Su Chang, you're fired effective immediately. With that declaration, she strode to the desk and dialed the legal department. Draft a divorce agreement immediately. Not long after hanging up the phone, the lawyer from the adjacent office knocked on the door with the long-prepared agreement in hand. Xunling snatched it over, signed her delicate signature on it, then slammed it against my chest. Su Chang, we're divorced. Sign it now. Get lost. Chen Ziqiang stood chuckling to himself in an inconspicuous corner when suddenly Xunling rushed over and grabbed his hand. He startled so badly that his jaw muscles spasmed while desperately suppressing a grin, his expression twisting grotesquely. Lingling. He thought Xunling had noticed his barely concealed smirk. Yet Xunling's attention wasn't on his micro-expressions at all. Instead, she tugged his hand pleadingly. Ziqiang, you're so capable. With all those international business awards you've won, surely you can help me salvage this order. Chen Ziqiang's lips curved into a confident smile as he smoothly pulled Xunling's slender waist against him. Being an overseas returnee, when I spend money to handle matters, you can rest assured. I hadn't even signed the divorce papers yet, but there they were hugging and clinging to each other right in front of me. Seeing this, I vowed to myself to stand up for myself one last time. Biting back the pain in my heart, I signed the divorce papers. After quietly packing my luggage and leaving, I dialed my sister's number. Sis, is that vice president position still reserved for me? Just done playing around. Ready to come home. The sister on the phone sounded emotional. I've finally waited for your call. Good brother, forget about being vice president. Even my CEO position, the position of Su family's head, are yours whenever you want them. The second week after returning to Su Group. At the private bidding event I organized, I encountered Xunling and Chen Ziqiang again. Except these two seemed to have thoroughly offended client Mr. Yu, the project owner. On the way to the private bidding venue, through my sister's connections, I met with the client. Now technically should call them the investor brother, Mr. Yu's team, again in my capacity as heir to the Su Group. To be precise, it should now be called the investor's younger brother. When Mr. Yu saw me, his attitude became at least 100 times more deferential compared to before. Young Master Suyu, you've ascended to leadership position so quickly? Mr. Yu had already started stammering when speaking to me. My sudden change in status caught him completely off guard. To outsiders, the head of the Su family has always been my elder sister. Even industry insiders believe that even if I were to suddenly return after wandering outside, I would need to engage in a life-and-death struggle with my sister to seize the mantle of leadership at the Su Corporation. This is why Mr. Yu, despite knowing I'm a direct descendant of the Su family, merely treated me with basic courtesy. After all, whether one becomes the ultimate decision-maker depends on carving out a bloodstained path with their own hands. The business world is a battlefield, but he never could have dreamed that my sister would relinquish authority outright, without the slightest hesitation. How could he not panic? I adopted a down-to-earth demeanor and joked with him. Don't keep calling me you, it sounds so stiff. I heard you didn't end up giving Shenling that 80 million project after all. Did you two have a fight? Yu's expression was clouded with gloom. Don't even bring it up. That Shenling girl is either too young or too naive. She invited some overseas returnee to negotiate with me. You have no idea how insufferably arrogant that guy was. He tried bribing me with 8,000 yuan, claiming it wasn't a small amount. For my 80 million yuan project, whichever partner I choose would treat me like a king. Frankly, in situations like this, I'd feel better if they didn't offer any kickbacks at all. Let's not mention that idiot anymore. Just thinking about him makes my blood boil. Watching Director Yu stomping his feet and pounding his chest, I forced back laughter, my body trembling violently. Chun Ziqiang truly is a talent. Director Yu, imagine if we placed him in a critical position at a competitor's company. Director Yu fell silent. He could bankrupt a state-owned enterprise. Enough. Director Yu seemed to realize the impropriety of ranting in this setting. With a smile, he asked me, Mr. Su, why don't you just take this project off my hands? 80 million was an astronomically huge deal for Shenling, but for the Su Group, it felt awkwardly mediocre. But I'm the newbie here. My sister said I should take it one step at a time, moving steadily. So I nodded with a smile. What do you mean by casually taking it? President Yu, this project of yours has tremendous potential. I've always believed in it. I'll add another 80 million later too. Let's pool 160 million. Either we don't do it at all, or we make it absolutely perfect. After President Yu left looking thoroughly pleased. Beside me, my older sister showed a gratified smile, her eyes slightly reddened. My brother has grown up, learning I'll manage family business now. My heart ached for a moment. Over these years, while helping Shenling build her company to where it is today, I frequently quarreled with my sister to avoid inheriting the family business, and even secretly married Shenling behind her back. Looking back now, I realize I was truly blind back then. The 80 million order that used to require all my energy to secure can now be obtained with just a few words after my change in status. With a casual wave of my hand, I effortlessly spend tens of millions more. The bidding project is about to commence. I went to the restroom midway, ended up bumping into Shenling, who just exited the women's restroom. Shenling examined me with evident surprise. Being an industry insider, she couldn't help but ask while eyeing my limited edition suit. Why are you here? This suit you're wearing is extremely expensive. Is that rented? I pushed my gold-framed glasses up the bridge of my nose with my index finger, flashed her a faint smile, then turned sideways to enter the men's restroom. Since we were already divorced, there was no need to waste words on her. Then I collided with Chun Ziqiang emerging from the restroom. He immediately sneered. Did you steal that suit you're wearing? The bidding room is right behind us. Su Chang, if you don't have the skills, don't try to take on the job. I haven't even secured the 80 million order yet. Do you think changing your disguise will make you succeed? Chun Ziqiang's tone dripped with sarcasm. Shenling nodded in agreement. Ziqiang is right. Su Chang, we're divorced now. There's no need to steal clothes to help me win projects, just to salvage our marriage. Shenling has never needed such help. Her chin lifted slightly. I know you still love me, but don't do illegal things. Even if you succeed, I won't accept it. By the way, after I finish the bidding today, come with me to the Civil Affairs Bureau this afternoon. We can get divorced early. Faced with Chun Ziqiang's mockery and Shenling's unwarranted confidence, the old me might have retorted a few words. But the shift in my social status instantly broadened my horizons. The scenery seen from the 3rd floor is fundamentally different from that observed from the 30th floor. I politely nodded slightly at both of them, sidestepped past Chun Ziqiang, and entered the restroom. My dismissive behavior greatly provoked Chun Ziqiang, making him feel like he'd thrown a punch into cotton. He immediately called security and said, "There's a country bumpkin stealing suits in the bathroom. How dare such trash infiltrate Sue Group's private bidding event? Aren't you afraid of losing your job? Coincidentally, I emerged at that moment. This hotel was owned by my family. Though I'd just inherited the vast family fortune, few had seen or recognized me yet. The security guard took one look at me, then at Chen Ziqiang, who was putting on airs by holding Shun Ling's arm, and became even more convinced I was a thief. Without another word, he tried to physically remove me from the hotel. I shook off the security guard's hand. I'll leave on my own. Chen Ziqiang sneered mockingly. Oh, now you've got legs to walk. Weren't you just whining and begging to ride in a Maybach earlier? As soon as the words left his mouth, he seemed to regret them. Ling Shun immediately let go of his arm, her expression souring. I grinned and raised an eyebrow at Chen Ziqiang. Kid, I'll be sitting right here on the lobby sofa. You'll come apologize to me in 10 minutes. Chen Ziqiang snorted disdainfully. You? The Maybach guy? How much have you drunk? Are you this delusional? I pursed my lips and shook my head at him provocatively. Let's wait and see, shall we? Calmly asking the front desk girl for a bitter coffee, I crossed my legs and leaned back on the sofa by the window, sipping leisurely. Little beauty, the coffee you brewed tastes great. Did you work in a cafe before? The girl at the counter was very young, looking like she hadn't been out in society for long. Seeing me strike up a conversation, her face flushed pink instantly. B-boss, I just like brewing coffee at home. Do you have a boyfriend? How old are you this year? Want to give your big brother a chance? The little beauty turned crimson from my questions, finally turning her back to ignore me completely. Looking at her adorable appearance, I couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. Su Chong, how dare you? A displeased voice rang out at that moment. No one else but Shen Ling and Chen Ziqiang. However, there was also a group of bidding participants following behind them. Before drinking my coffee, I had sent a message to my sister asking her to temporarily change the bidding venue to the hotel lobby. Chen Ziqiang pointed at me and shouted, Su Chong, why are you still here acting like a hooligan? I raised my brow and glanced at him, replying plainly, ugly guys hitting on girls is harassment. Handsome guys hitting on girls is called flirting. Chen Ziqiang stared at my face, fuming yet unable to find a retort immediately. Shen Ling circled around me, failing to find any labels on my suit. Strange, no tags at all. You weren't just trying it on. Did you really steal this? Feeling she was close to the mark, Shen Ling immediately snapped an order at me. Su Chong, this is really not the place for you to act wild. Master Su is still in the hall. Hurry up and leave. Stop embarrassing me, okay? Also for your own safety. Chen Ziqiang nodded. Right, if you don't scram now, I'll call the police. Slap. Boss, you walked over and smacked him across the face. The hell do you think you are? Who gave you the right to speak here? Chen Ziqiang was utterly humiliated. As he was about to retaliate, Shen Ling pulled him back from behind, shaking her head to signal him to calm down. At this moment in the crowd, the sister walked towards me amidst constellations of stars. Little brother, are you okay? I smiled and shook my head. Little brother? What does that mean? Shen Ling widened her eyes to look at me. Chen Ziqiang whispered to himself with an unbelieving expression. Su Chong. Su Group. Could he possibly be? The next second, all staff present respectfully greeted. Good day, Master Su. Smiling, I took my sister's hand and found a good seat, then addressed the crowd. We'll conduct the bidding here. The sofa I just sat on is quite comfortable. Everyone scrambled to find seats, only to see Shen Ling and Chen Ziqiang standing frozen like statues in the hall. The bidding supervisor glanced at them and started to rise to fetch chairs. I asked him pointedly, is there a mismatch in attendance numbers? Why aren't you seated yet? The supervisor looked embarrassed as his eyes darted between Shen Ling and Chen Ziqiang before decisively closing his mouth. It wasn't until this moment that I finally turned my calm gaze toward the pair, a knowing smile slowly spreading through my eyes. You two can stand and listen. Any objections? Shen Ling's face looked extremely unpleasant, while Chen Ziqiang beside her appeared as if he had eaten dirt. In the past, I had always wanted to shed the identity of the Su Group's heir, to carve out my own sky through my own strength. After enduring the brutal battering of society, I finally awakened to reality. President Yu agreed to sign the 80 million contract, but the only thing he truly coveted was the affiliations behind me. I now wholeheartedly agree with something my sister once said. Capability only proves whether I can do something. Only background qualifies me to do it. Watching these people show me such respect, I couldn't help sighing at how foolish I'd been before. Rejecting my family's ample resources, instead following others' example to start my own business. Wasn't this simply asking for punishment without committing a crime? Even if you're the Su family's crown prince, you can't bully people like this. Chen Ziqiang's muttered words once again made the room so silent you could hear a pin drop. I raised my brow and looked at him, countering with apparent confusion. You could rely on Shen Ling's partiality to bully sales department staff. Why can't I use my status as young master to bully you? The principle that big fish eat small fish eat shrimp. Didn't they teach you this overseas? If it bothers you, you're free to leave. No one's stopping you. Chen Ziqiang's face alternated between green and pale hues as he grabbed Shenling's hand to walk away. Yet Shenling abruptly shook him off. Chen Ziqiang looked puzzled and confused. Aren't we leaving yet? We're staying here to keep embarrassing ourselves. Shenling slapped him angrily. Despite her typically impeccable etiquette, even she couldn't hold back from lashing out under these circumstances. Did studying abroad turn your brain to mush? You still can't see the writing on the wall now. I was just too stupid before, believing the bullshit you said, you dumbass. Chen Ziqiang wasn't particularly capable, but he cared a great deal about saving face. Of course, Chen Ziqiang couldn't bear being publicly cursed like this by Shenling. He slapped her back with the back of his hand. To think I believed you were different from other women. Now that Su Chong has transformed into Master Su, your gold digger nature finally shows, doesn't it? I was slightly taken aback by Chen Ziqiang's slap. Never expected him to be this bold. Chen Ziqiang had messed things up himself, and Shenling was now willing to grovel to clean up his mess for him. Not only did he fail to appreciate it, but he even slapped her. Who is Shenling? A businesswoman. That's who. If all matters were not prioritized based on profit, her company would likely have been swallowed by competitors or gone bankrupt long ago. Until today, I was still envious of Chen Ziqiang. He exploited Shenling's trust recklessly by virtue of being her childhood companion, privileges even I, her lawful husband, never received. But now I no longer envy him. Instead, I even feel a bit sorry for Shenling. Perhaps she is detestable to me, but for Chen Ziqiang, Shenling is the woman who treats him the best in the entire world. Yet, such a woman is someone whom Chen Ziqiang isn't willing to endure even the slightest grievance alongside. Thinking of this, I couldn't help but feel tears welling up. I turned and called out to President Yu. President Yu, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and set up a stage. Let the two of them have it out. Best of 3 rounds. If Shenling wins, you hand that 80 million yuan contract over to her. How about it? President Yu looked somewhat awkward. This isn't appropriate, is it? The amount involved isn't small. We can't treat it as a game. I glared at him and whispered a reminder. The project is yours. Whether to sign or not isn't your decision. I'm the contractor here. Director Yu immediately grasped my meaning. With a hearty laugh, he addressed them both. You two should duke it out. If Shenling wins, Mr. Su will hand over the 80 million yuan contract to you. Without another word, the bidding manager had the staff set up a martial arts stage. I knew Shenling's company's situation better than she did herself. Ever since Chen Ziqiang took charge of the hospitality department, the company's business hospitality standards have drastically reduced, alienating many clients and resulting in numerous contracts being terminated or outright rejected. On the day I signed the divorce papers, the accountant had called me to vent, saying if I left, the company would truly be unable to operate. I was aware of all this, and Shenling knew it too. But Shenling didn't trust the accountant's words. She placed her faith solely in Chen Ziqiang. Even when Chen Ziqiang openly embezzled by renting out the company's only 2 Maybachs to a wedding company to earn extra cash, she still turned a blind eye. The reason I've kept silent all along is because I knew it would be pointless even if I did. Shenling treats Chen Ziqiang so well. There's no way Chen Ziqiang would retaliate and hit her. This fight is meaningless anyway. Good thing you just clued me in that we're just teasing them. Mr. Yu was aware of all this, but he hadn't finished speaking before he could finish. Chen Ziqiang slammed his fist into Shenling's chest. Then a right whip kick swept her to the ground. Shenling was stunned. Many people were stunned. She gnashed her teeth and questioned Chen Ziqiang. Are you insane? If I win, the project is mine. The company can keep operating. Why did you hit me? Chen Ziqiang straddled her and cursed. You're the fucking idiot. Su Chong was obviously playing us. How could he give you an 80 million yuan contract? Just for beating me up? He just wants to see us dogs fight. God damn it. Discovered so quickly? Where's the fun in that? I quickly tried to persuade him with kind words. You're Su Yi. Keep my word. As long as you let Shenling hit you twice, I'll give you the contract. Exactly. This is free money coming your way. How come you still can't grasp this, you fool? Chen Ziqiang's brain was wired differently, having shockingly interpreted another layer of meaning. Humph. I got it. He pointed at Shenling, her pretty face already swollen, and said to me, this is a setup you two intentionally planned for me, right? I can feel that Shenling doesn't love me anymore, and you two have been hooking up behind my back, right? After saying this, he punched Shenling again. Bitch, I came back from abroad specifically for you, yet you're secretly conspiring with him to scheme against me behind my back, aren't you? Enough of this. Let's call it a day. What happened today stays with everyone here. I suddenly lost all interest in continuing. Originally, I still wanted to be the director who breaks up the lovebirds. Who would have thought that not only did the lovebirds not get separated, but they started fighting each other first? After the event, I handed over the bidding matters to my sister to handle. As for me, I drove to the Civil Affairs Bureau, waiting for Xinling to come and get divorced. Alas, Xinling didn't show up. Instead, Chen Ziqiang did. The van suddenly halted, and he rushed out with his crew from the vehicle, drugged me unconscious, and tossed me into the van. When I came to, again, it was in a sunless basement. A dim incandescent bulb swung gently from a single wire, swaying back and forth, casting the room's shadows to dance slowly on the walls. When I opened my eyes, Chen Ziqiang lay unconscious beside me, his entire body tightly bound with ropes. Xinling changed into a translucent purple short dress. The dim light shining behind her accentuated her well-proportioned, stunning figure. Ah Chong, every time you closed a project before, you begged me to wear this dress. You said purple was the most enticing, yet now that I've put it on, why do you still wear such a gloomy look? She was once my dream wife, but now I only feel disgusted. Are you unhappy? Xinling frowned and asked while she sat on my lap, wrapping her arms around my neck. I looked at her coldly, with not a hint of desire in my eyes. Because this mesmerizing purple allure had also been experienced by the comatose man beside us, wasn't it? Xinling's eyes darkened. I continued, let me go, and I won't hold you accountable for illegal confinement. Can we not divorce? She asked. Impossible. The divorce papers have already been signed. She tried to kiss me while smiling, and I desperately avoided her. Xinling frowned with displeasure. You used to love my kisses the most. What does signing divorce papers matter? We're not officially divorced anyway. At this moment, Chen Ziqiang, who had been lying unconscious on the ground, woke up. When he saw that he was tied up, he angrily questioned Xinling. Aren't we on the same team? I even helped you tie Su Chong up. Why did you bind me? Xinling moved away from my lap and approached him. Pressing her stiletto heel between his legs, she hissed, You bastard. Not only did you embezzle so much from my company, you've also been screwing that saleswoman behind my back. If that saleswoman's husband hadn't come to the company to make a scene today, I might have stayed fooled by your act. Chen Ziqiang's face changed dramatically. Let me explain. She was the one who seduced me first. I never expected you to divorce Su Chong for my sake. Had I known earlier about your divorce, I would never have cheated around. Chen Ziqiang appeared particularly terrified of being imprisoned. He was in a state of extreme mental tension. Xinling asked him, Why are you so certain I won't get a divorce with him? Chen Ziqiang directly told the truth. 80% of the company's performance was pulled by him alone. You two are still husband and wife. Regardless of who it is, no one would believe you'd fire him and divorce him. This is just shooting yourself in the foot. I felt dazed after hearing this. Something even Chen Ziqiang could see clearly. Could Xinling not comprehend this? She did understand. Perhaps from beginning to end, she had only treated me as cheap labor. And now, laid bare by Chen Ziqiang's blunt words, Xinling was provoked. Right then, she suddenly snapped and stomped her foot down. Ag! In the basement, Chen Ziqiang's pig-like squeal exploded so loudly that my eardrums nearly burst. He passed out from the pain. Xinling muttered to herself, Since you can't control your lower half, I'll clean it up for you. She then slowly turned to face me. Su Chong, I've avenged you. Will you give me another chance? I gritted my teeth. Resignation told me it was time to yield now. But my mouth kept speaking stubbornly against my will. In your dreams, I'd rather see all women in the world perish than be with you. The corners of her lips stretched into an exaggerated arc. Haha, you destroyed my company. Then I'll make sure the Su family ends with no heirs. She approached me with crimson-rimmed eyes as she spoke. Xinling, it's truly not too late to stop now. I'm willing to start over with you. I subconsciously glanced at Chen Ziqiang, who'd passed out from pain, my face twitching uncontrollably. Actually, I've always liked you. I just couldn't stand Chen Ziqiang. Period. With my roots barely hanging on, why bother pretending to have dignity? Really? Then I need to inspect the goods. As she spoke, she began to loosen her garments. I almost forgot that she had mild violent tendencies. When we were together, I always regularly took her to see a psychologist. After Chen Ziqiang appeared, I hadn't taken her to see the doctor for a long time. Shit. This psycho must have been agitated by Chen Ziqiang and me so badly that she's having a relapse. Submit or not. Just at this critical moment, the secret room's doors suddenly burst open. Sister came. She rushed in with a group of professionals. Control Xinling. Bastard. How dare you kidnap the heir of my Su group? Send her to the police station immediately. After speaking, she rushed over to me and untied the ropes. Sorry I came late, sis. It wasn't late at all. Never imagined she'd tie you up at the company. The company? Only after leaving the basement did I realize. The place where I'd been kidnapped wasn't some secret chamber, but a hidden compartment in Xinling's office. Another exit of the secret compartment connected to Chen Ziqiang's office. So the two of them had been fooling around behind my back like this. No wonder Chen Ziqiang arrived